Welcome to this week's episode of Let's Chat with Derick, and back by popular demand is my next guest as we work our way through, and so many small businesses and individuals struggling through this pandemic with recent new restrictions put on so many people and so many small businesses. There just seems to be a constant misunderstanding of how things are working and whereabouts we are going with this pandemic. And I am joined today by Catherine Landry. Of course, you know her from Call Betty, from She Shops Local, and Ladies Who Lunch. Catherine, how are you today?
Hey, good morning, Derick. Happy snow day. Thank gosh, right? So it's a snowy day in Ottawa.
Yeah.
It's April, which reminds me of a Prince song. Sometimes it snows in April. I guess that's the only good thing about snow.
And you think we'd get used to it by now, Catherine, right? We all bring out, we've got 20 degrees. We bring out our patio furniture, and then a week later, it seems to always happen each and every year. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's funny,
I want to start off.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just talking about Canadian closets. Why are Canadian closets so big? It's because we have 800 different seasons.
It's very true, as a matter of fact. I want to talk about how you are doing personally, first and foremost. I know that you've been struggling, like so many, with your mental health throughout this pandemic. Let's start there, Catherine. How are you feeling?
The struggle is real. Like, the struggle is very, very real as far as like vice clamps on a small business owner's brain. The vice clamps are super tight right now. So how I'm dealing with it is just doing more community service. We started Pro Love 613. We're distributing gifts and goods to frontline workers just to keep positive energy alive, to keep communicating with the community and keep doing good work. But I think that's just to keep busy so we don't really think about the true issue that's happening right now.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that, Catherine, because you've partnered up with some fantastic people in the community and come together to surprise and help frontline workers. How did this all come together, and who are some of the partners you're working with?
My friend Sharon Bosley House has an events business that she's lost. I have an events business that I lost. So we were talking, we've been friends since grade 9. And I just said, like, we think we have it bad, but we don't have it half as bad as Frontline right now working in hospitals. Like, they are exhausted. They're just exhausted. They're overworked, overwhelmed. So we just thought, hey, what if we just wrote some beautiful cards and brought some beautiful gifts, like a surprise drop, and brought some cheer, like, and mostly gratitude, to just say, hey, we see you. You know, we see the work you're doing. So we've been kind of dropping these. We've dropped over 400 of these big, beautiful packages off Briere and Chio, Queensway, Carleton. Yesterday, we went to the Ottawa Hospital to the pain management team. There's 20 phenomenal frontline workers there, and all they do all day is deal with clients who have pain from cancer. And so we managed to drop off the boxes. Everything is COVID regulated, everything up and clean. And they were just stoked. They were so happy. So just like,
I can imagine.
Like that. Yeah, just things like that just make us want to, keep going forward and doing good work for others. So partnering just people for donations. Sharon and I kind of put the rest of what we have in our savings towards the project itself. And then we're getting donations from people like SSC Sparkling wrote a big fat check for us, which helped tremendously. And the community's kind of coming together. But we definitely need more because, the struggle is real in the hospitals as well. So that's Love 613.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad we had the opportunity to talk about that, because I don't think, Catherine, that as you said, we all have our own struggles, but I can't even imagine what frontline workers are going through. It's, you know, it's a roller coaster ride of emotions for myself. You know, you know, some days are great and some days you just, you know, fall into this haze, and, you know, you get into, you know, feelings of sadness and depression. And I can't, you know, for those people,
Yeah.
it's just unbelievable what they've been doing. So thank you so much to you and
Right.
Sharon. I know Sharon as well, and her husband Tony. They've done such wonderful work in this community, like yourself. Let's talk about the business community, because you're tuned into the business community here in Ottawa. I follow you on social media. You're always promoting businesses. Of course, a lot of those businesses have joined you through She Shops Local. What is the feeling at this time, Catherine?
Well, where it was pretty bad last time, it's brutally bad right now. To extend this lockdown to May 20th is completely, it's reprehensible. I don't know who's standing up for small business anymore. I don't see any leaders, particularly from government, standing up and going, listen, man, we have to fight for small business owners. They're being crushed. There was an announcement right now that Dr. Etches would like to stop all curbside deliveries. You can't, like, you just can't. You cannot. There has to be a point where it's like, this is enough. Like, we're at the tipping point, like, where the third lockdown, second lockdown, first lockdown, as entrepreneurs, you can imagine we're incredibly resolvent. We're incredibly able to take a negative, you know, add a little entrepreneur juju to it and make it into a positive.
Mm-hmm.
We're out of juju. We're out of everything. And we're fighting. And that's the thing, like emails and calling Parliament and texting and messaging. But it seems like, for real, it seems like it's falling on deaf ears. And that's terrifying to know that as taxpayers, as community givers, as community philanthropists, like, remember, small businesses are the ones that, here's your gift certificate for your kid's soccer team, like, here's some food, you know what I mean? Like, small businesses are the one that are constantly in the community. And right now, small businesses, it's 911 time. It's really really dangerous right now. And as well, let's extol let's speak on mental health. And thank you, Derick, for talking out loud about your mental health. I noticed Sean Simpson yesterday on Twitter.
Yeah.
He also spoke very, you know, and he said it's not a weakness to ask for help. And Sean Simpson, you know, I respect him tremendously. He's a community leader as well. And you know, exactly. And Sean was like, I've been away, like, I can't handle this. But saying it out loud like that, people have to say it out loud. Like, don't hide, because, you know, there's a suicide rate, there's a depression rate, and all of these numbers are through the roof. I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. I just know from messages that I'm getting, it's difficult. And so the main thing, I was talking to John Potvin about this, the main depression, or the main factor that could click an unfathomable thought in an entrepreneur, is that they borrowed money from their parents' house. They borrowed money from their family's life savings, and now they can't pay any of it back. That's, and then people are like, oh, it's just the risk of being an entrepreneur. Like, you decided to do this. Yes, we did. Yes, we totally did. And at this time, it's the final, you can't breathe from that stuff. That stuff just pins you
Catherine,
down
and
to
you
the
can't,
ground.
I mean, you can't plan for something completely unpredictable like this. For people that say, you know, you take a risk when you become an entrepreneur. Yes. And you know what? You understand the risks in those situations, right? You understand the risks that are ahead of you. This is an unprecedented risk. This is a risk that nobody saw coming. And if somebody says they did, I hate to say it, but you're lying. You did not see this coming. You did not see the effects or the impact that something like this would have on small business. And I don't know. I imagine, Catherine, too. I was just going to say, I imagine that small businesses aren't the only ones who need to have the ear of government. I mean, individuals have to be the ones now writing letters and making those phone calls, because obviously it's not enough for small businesses to do it. As you've just you've just told us, it's falling on deaf ears. What do you want from the community? What are small businesses looking for from the community?
I think small businesses at this point are exhausted. We've followed every single mandate. My friend Tony, that owns a beautiful restaurant, like he spent $2,000 just to rent a tent for this month. But everybody that's paid all of this money to rent tents and patio equipment, all that money's gone now because we can't use it. So I think the small businesses there's not much more we can give. Like we've followed, oh my God, we've PPE'd, we've built, we've followed every single guideline, and therein lies the complete frustration, as we've done every single thing that was requested, was demanded, was asked, and yet it still isn't enough. And yet, who is still open, right? So, yeah, you can't buy shoes and socks or whatever, but parking lots are packed. That's all I can say, So I don't know. There's definitely we need some great, fantastic leader to really step up to the plate, and I think that's the frustration right now for businesses. Just this kind of lack of leadership on behalf of small business, right? So
And you've always talked to me about that word. Yeah, you've talked about that word innovate, Catherine, and I think that's what's missing perhaps from different levels of government is they're not innovating. They're reacting, and they're reacting so quickly that nobody, and especially small businesses, you can't prepare. Through Operation Support Local, we've talked to many restaurants, and it's warning, 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 and then the next day it's closed. Instead of warning, warning, and by the way, next week we're going to close down. All of these decisions seem to be made at the last minute, and it's giving zero time for small businesses to react. You sound like you're at your wit's end, Catherine. I mean, what more can you do? You're giving back to the community. Your complete events business is shut down. I mean, what more can you offer? You know what I mean? I mean, is that where you're at mentally right now?
Well, yeah. I mean, the key word again is collaboration. So let's talk about businesses that are doing right now. Landscaping businesses are killing it. Congratulations. These guys are on fire. People that want to stay home and have a gorgeous garden, finally, beautiful. Landscaping is just blowing it away, which is amazing. So there are some great businesses that are doing really, really, really well. So my thing is, like, maybe the really, really good business could collaborate with the ones that are kind of like some kind of a buddy system of business owners. I did created another group with Lucas No. We created the Ontario Beauty Collective. And what we did is we have all of the spas, salons, all of the hair people. So they're all in this group now, and they're able to like connect, talk, buy, sell, trade, work with each other. So I think it's a matter of just collaborating. So if you're a business and you're super busy, let's make sure that you're buying every other local businesses and you're supporting other. I mean, it's just that same old thing, like that it's almost like a tired shop local but it's more than shop local now. It's collaborate locally, innovate locally. Again, if you're a government employee, please make sure that maybe it does cost a little bit more, but if you can spend your money with local businesses, man, like what that's going to offer to entrepreneurs right now is like paramount. So maybe you can't buy your shoes at Walmart because it's all core off, but hey, there's Kitty Cobbler. Kitty Cobbler is like an institution, and you can buy shoes at Kitty Cobbler right now, right? So it's just the old thing of shop local, but heightened, like shop local 2.0.
Yeah, well, and I
and
mean,
that's
landscaping's a great example. You're also seeing, the renovation business, for example, another huge one. And
huge.
instead of going to the big box store, right, where they offer,
Mhm.
they hire contractors and so forth. I understand that, but some of their profits, of course, are going to, head office and who knows where. And when you're looking for these businesses where you're looking for a renovation, or you're looking for landscaping, or you're starting a garden, instead of going to the big box store, because as you said, Kath, there are some industries that are doing well. Is part of the, I think is it the lack of perhaps time commitment that some of us, and I'm guilty as charged, by the way. I'm not saying that I know, but I mean it, is that we don't do enough research to find out what small businesses are available to do the things that, like you just mentioned. Kitty Cobbler's a great example. If we want to buy shoes, if some people, whatever product or service you're looking for, we just go the easy route.
Point taken. That's a good point. And you would think that after so long of hammering that shop local, but then someone else, we had talked about it before, Derick, about shop local is not a charitable action, right? Like,
Mm,
it's not a
yeah.
charity. You're not giving to like, oh my God, and then I drove over here, and no, it's not. It's now shopping local. It's a 911 thing. Does it take extra time to research and find out? Yep, it sure does. But then that's also on
Hmm.
business owners. We need to stay relevant online. Like, maybe your business is closed, get online, promote, be seen, tell stories, get your social media ramped up, collaborate,
Hmm.
collaborate. Pick like four
Yeah.
people that you love doing business with, do a Zoom party, right? You can still do online parties, online selling. Stay relevant, collaborate, stay relevant, and tell your stories. Like, not long-winded ones, because people don't want to
Yeah.
hear
No,
that right
that's a
now.
good point. Yeah.
And so what I call it, like, or the kind of marketing that I love doing, is called advertising for toddlers. Big picture,
Okay.
little words. So tell your
No, but it's true.
stories,
You
get
don't
your
want to. I mean,
images.
people are turned off, right? People's attention spans,
Yeah.
and it's nothing against anyone, but people's attention spans aren't as much as they used to be. Listen, people don't, read a full newspaper article anymore. People are very much about, the quick headline and the summary. And I'm glad you brought that up, because, if somebody's promoting themselves as a business online, and quite frankly, if it's the see more button that you're hitting, let's give Facebook for an example, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden, right, you're scrolling along, you're losing people. So I imagine
True.
that's your advice: is if you're
True.
going to promote,
True.
it's got to capture
Yeah.
people's attention, and it has to be short and to the point.
Short and sweet. And you know what else is even more fantastic, is when you promote someone else's business. That stuff sticks,
Yeah.
because it's like, like, oh my God, I just ordered, like, this lady. I just ordered these. She cuts like these beautiful dehydrated, gorgeous fruits and puts them in this little box. She does this at home. I'm like, girl, this is beautiful. People that make teas can use these. Catering companies can use this. So I'm like, I'm going to do a shout out for you. So shout outs, if you
Yeah.
find somebody out there that's just rocking it, just take 8 minutes, come online and be like, listen, I was just at this place. Oh my God, it's amazing service, amazing whatever. Because that's organic marketing. That's telling a
Yeah.
truth. The other thing I'm seeing too, Derick, is a lot of hate directed at frontline workers in retail, cashiers, being spoken to
Oh
like
my
garbage.
gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Manitic Home Hardware just did a huge post about this evil lady who came for a rake and basically destroyed the entire staff. So the owner of Home Hardware had to issue like almost a press release saying, please don't laugh like this. So yes, we're all in bad moods, but let's breathe. Let's take that 8 minutes
Yeah.
and just be like, do I need a rake today? Okay, maybe I do. Maybe I can borrow one from my neighbor, but I don't need to go into a small business and ream out like the staff that are working there. And that's another thing
Yeah.
about mental health and mental wellness. Like right now, triggering, you don't know who you're going to set off, or and so as humans, let's just step into humanity, and let's, let's be kind. You don't have to like each other. A lot of people don't like me. They tell me so on social media. That's fine. Expressing it is fine. But
Yeah.
I don't mind. Like, it's, if we all thought the same, we'd all be in some weirdo cult living under a bubble. Oh wait, maybe we are.
For sure. And Catherine, I'm glad you mentioned that, right? Because I understand everybody is frustrated. Another story I just saw is, a mother saying that her 15-year-old getting yelled at. She's working at a grocery store and she's getting yelled at. I mean, she's 15 years old. What do you think
Yeah.
she has to do with anything that you might be frustrated with as far as the store? And then, I belong to a Facebook group from my neighborhood here where somebody said, did anyone find that the local grocery store, our local metro, that the staff is getting grumpier and grumpier? You know what really I loved about it is there were probably 100 comments underneath it that said, no, couldn't be any further from the truth. I can tell you the local grocery stores that I go to, the independently owned ones in particular, the staff are incredible. And if someone's having a bad day, let's just put it at, they're having a bad day. But I have not had a bad experience in any store that I have gone to, any independently, locally owned and operated store that I've gone into. And, that even includes some of the larger grocery stores where, by the way, the people working there are people that live in your community. So, keep that in mind. I want to talk a little bit about, perhaps, is there some optimism, Catherine, within the business community when we are seeing, the 40 plus are now allowed to get, the AstraZeneca vaccine, that we're seeing the numbers go up of people getting that first dose. Is there any optimism out there?
Again, I'm not a specialist on vaccines, and nor am I an anti-vaxxer. I follow the trail of numbers and stuff, and it looks like we were 50th globally to get vaccines out. Now we're 64th. So there's some kind of high level, that's a whole other ball of wax for a whole department to speak on. But again, the most important thing is, like, write your MP, call your MP, like, what's happening. We need to be actionable on every day. Like, there's no longer sitting and just kind of waiting. And I'm really glad you spoke about youth as well. There's a new word, social malnutrition. Social malnutrition is what our kids are going through right now. And again, the number one focus, I think, above and beyond anything, is our youth and our children. We really, really, really need to push a lot of stuff to the side and bring our children right to the forefront, because, man, it's really, really difficult. So and parents and oh my God, and the frontline workers in daycares right now are burning out at record speed. They are just
absolutely.
So again, if if your kids are in daycare, send that daycare some flowers, some cookies, some cards, some gratitude. Just recognizing that, hey, we see you, we know what you're doing, and hopefully we'll be out of all of this soon. But children should be the number one flag that we're raising right now. Is all about children and youth. As you know, CHEO, overwhelmed. They've never seen anything like it before. So let's be kind to our kids, and I know we all are, but I'm just saying that little extra thing.
No, that's
my next
it's a great message, Catherine. Yeah, no, that's a great message. I think we forget what the impact is. Yeah. Catherine, I want to talk a little bit about for sure. I want to talk a little bit about the future for a moment. And I look at your industry, the events industry. Do you think your industry is going to be changed forever due to this? I mean, even when we get through all of this, I think a lot of people are looking at this as there's going to be a new normal. Do you see that for the events industry?
I think it's going to go one of two ways. Either it's going to open up and we're going to party like it's 1999 times a billion, and nobody's ever going home and people are sleeping in the clubs, and it's a 100% throwdown, party, booze sales through the roof, or it's going to be a very different world, with smaller gatherings and IDing and temperature taking. But I'm very, very hopeful that we're going to come back to some beautiful events. I mean, because the event industry is like, that's fun, and mostly it's about raising awareness too for charitable initiatives, and bringing community together. Just dying to hug people and, hey, how are you? And so we have hope as humanity. We have to have hope. We have to believe in ourselves, entrepreneur wellness, and actionable. You gotta call your and where are our leaders? Where, like, I would think that the mayor of our city might want to, I don't know, have an announcement maybe every week, kind of, on what's going on. I just find that kind of questionable. Like, where's the leaders? Like, you want to remember, you want to be voted in to government soon, because there's going to be we, the small business people, we're watching, right? We're watching.
Yeah.
We're looking. Who's paying attention? Who's doing what? So that's super important to remember.
And that's it. Yeah, that's interesting, Catherine, because you mentioned that word collaboration and how important it is, to the small businesses, and how, by the way, how well many of them are doing in collaborating and helping. And I think what we're seeing a lack of at the federal, provincial, and municipal level is collaboration. Right. As as an individual, I can tell you how frustrated I am. I can't imagine what it's like for a business person in getting various messaging all the time. And then you're seeing, heads just butting at different levels of government. It's the blame game, right? The municipal government blames the provincial government blames the federal government. And it seems to be, this constant.
There's no, what would be great would be accountability on behalf of government. Like, hey, we made a mistake. We did this, we did that. But it's these, like, there's an announcement coming. Okay, we get it. There's an announcement coming. Just be more professional, give more warning, and explain. We need explanations, especially the last one where Premier Ford was like, okay, and then the police are going to come out. Well, everybody seems to, he forgot to tell us about their extra work that they were supposed to be doing. Yeah. So the police are like, we're not doing this.
Yeah, the miscommunication has been ridiculous.
Weird. And then
for sure,
playgrounds are locked down, and it's Go ahead.
Sorry, Kath. I'm just going to say we've run out of time, but I thank you so much. You're always so passionate, and I appreciate how authentic and honest you are in answering questions. So thanks so much for joining me for this episode of Let's Chat with Derick. Really appreciate it.